Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have you in yoga class today. My name is Sarah and I'm your instructor, and I wanted to take you through this practice today. We're going to do some preparatory poses going up to our peak pose, which is going to be a reverse plank. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, walk you through all the steps, and I'm excited that you're with me today and you are on your mat in your practice. So let's get started in our class. Go ahead and start in a seated position. You can start cross-legged. You want to make sure that your sitting bones are firmly rooted into the ground and you're not lifting off when you're moving side to side. Just make sure, kind of lower your intensity if you're lifting off as you're moving around. Your momentum is carrying you, so you want to stay grounded the whole time. We're going to go ahead and start with our intention today, and we want to make sure that our neck and spine are nice and straight, lengthening up through the crown of your head, arms out relaxed on your knees. And we're going to go ahead and close our eyes for just a moment and really connect to our breath. Make sure that you're breathing very deeply and you're breathing through your nose, in through your nose, out through your nose. So let's get started. Connecting through our breath today, centering, leaving anything that may need to get done, anything that we're thinking about today, future plans, leaving those, and just concentrating on present moment and being here, moving our bodies on our mat. All right, so we're going to start gently by lifting your chin upward and then lowering down to your chest. Very, very gently. And one more time. Now we're going to go side to side. Nice and gently. Okay, now going to our left side, circle all the way around. Again, not putting too much strain on your neck, very gentle stretches here. Keep connecting with your breath. And other side, going to our right this time. And one more, and come to a stop. Okay, moving down to our shoulders. We're gonna go ahead and roll our shoulders back. Lots of mobility, and we're going to be using our shoulders quite a bit today, so I want to make sure they're nice and loose. It's really important to warm up your joints in yoga to make sure that you don't have any injuries. And roll them forward. Down, go one at a time, rolling your shoulder back, and do this nice and gently. If you have any mobility issues with your shoulders, just go where you can go and just warm it up how you can. Don't overstretch, don't force anything. All right, other side, back. And one more time. Very nice. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and warm up our spine a little bit. We're going to roll, arch our back. So we're going to bring our belly button to our spine, arching back this way, making sure you're still grounded on your sitting bones. And then we're going to pull on our knees, stretching forward, looking up. So we're going to kind of hunch our back. Turn to the side so you can see this. So hunching, rolling everything forward. Bring our navel to our spine, and then releasing, pulling back, arching. Okay, we're going to do 8 of those. So ready, and we're going to inhale with our arch, and we're going to exhale as we round, okay? So we're going to inhale up and exhale back. Two more. And one more time. Rounding back. Very nice. Okay. We're going to go ahead and circle to our left. Nice circle. And your knees may move just a tiny bit, but I want to make sure that your sit bones are always touching the ground for this. So we're leaning forward, pushing back. Leaning forward, pushing back in a circular motion. And we're going to go the other way. Two more times. And last one. All right. Very nice. Okay, so we are going to bring our feet together. And this is the first time to do this today. So if you want to be kind of out a little bit further or wherever you're comfortable, just kind of find that neutral, little bit of stretch, but not too much if you're not ready for it just yet. So we're going to go ahead and flap your thighs, opening up those hips and warming everything up for our practice. Nice gentle stretch right here. Make sure you're still breathing. Okay, we're going to bring our legs out front. We're going to bring them a little bit apart, and then we're going to roll out and in with our legs. So you can use your hands for stability. You want to make sure that you're in contact with the ground, working on those joints. And see, don't push it too much, but see how far you can go out and how far you can go in. Out and in. Okay, now we're going to start with a knee stretch. Lace your fingers underneath your knee or underneath your thigh. You don't want to be under your knee, but just under your thigh. And we're going to go ahead and extend your knee and bend it. 4, 8, 10. All right, hold it here. Just going to relax for just a second and let it go. We're going to do the other side. Again, lacing your fingers behind your thigh, and then we're going to bend and extend. Two more. And hold it. Very good. Okay. From here, we're going to go ahead and roll our ankles to the right. Again, see how far you can go. Keep it nice and gentle. Nothing should be hurting on this. And go the other way. Sitting up nice and tall. Again, sit bones still grounded. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and extend our toes forward and then bring them back. So we're working on those ankles, but also bringing your foot and your toes into that as well. Making sure everything's warmed up today. Okay, and relax. Now we're going to do our wrists. Circle your wrists for a second. And go the other way. And this always feels funny doing this stretch. 2 more. Okay, very good. We're going to bend them this way. You can actually push if you want to, kind of get a little stretch in here. And other side. And then bend them forward. And just do this as you are comfortable with it. All right, very nice. Okay, so now that our joints are nice and warmed up, we're going to go back to our seated position. Again, making sure you're grounded on your sit bones, sitting up nice and tall, extending up through the spine. And we're going to do a little twist. So we're going to bring our right hand behind us and our left hand on the knee. And as you extend up, you're going to turn your rib cage, looking behind you over your right shoulder. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Again, as you are going into it, if you started and then you can go a little bit further, go ahead and do that. Stretching just as much as you can. And one more breath here. And release. Okay, other side. Left hand behind, right hand on the knee, extending up as we twist over the shoulder. Keep breathing, see if you can go a little bit further. One more breath here, and release. Very good. Now this pose, you have your legs out front, and the backs of your legs are in contact with the ground where they can, calves and thighs. Your feet are engaged, and your hands are active right next to your hip bones, and we're extending up through the spine, looking straight ahead. So we're going to take a couple breaths here. Make sure that your chest is nice and open. Your shoulders are neutral. You're not up on one or down on the other. And you're bringing your belly button to your spine, keeping that nice engagement. Feeling this pose, being active in this pose. 2 more breaths here. And release. Very good. Okay, so from here, we're going to bring our hands back just a little bit. We're going to bend our knees, placing our feet on the ground, and we're going to go ahead and lift our hips up into our reverse bridge. So your hips are going to want to be, your thighs and your hips and your torso should be in a straight line with your calves and your arms sort of as the legs of the table in this situation. So you want to make sure that you're lifting your hips, you're lifting with the back side of your body, and you're also engaging your core and holding that. So we're going to stay a couple of breaths, and you may need to adjust a little bit forward or backwards once you get up so that you have a more level tabletop. So okay, from here we're going to lift with our hips, bringing our hips nice and high. Your head should be back, looking up at the ceiling, grounding through the feet and your hands, pressing up with your shoulders, hips nice and high, holding here just a little bit longer. Breathing, 2 more breaths. And release. Very nice. That's a hard one just to hold for a minute. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and roll over to our feet, and we're gonna stand up for our mountain pose. Feet can be hip width apart. Your feet can be hip width apart, or they can be close together, touching if you want them. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder to get the feet together. So we're gonna bring our hands to our sides, neutral spine, neutral shoulders. And we want to engage our fingers, keeping our chest nice and open, shoulders back and down. So here we are, we're going to bring, with our inhale, bring your arms up. And from here, we're going to interlace the fingers, turn them over if you can, and bring your navel into your spine, stretching up, getting lots of stretch vertically. Hold here for a minute. Smile, you're having fun in class today. Very nice, and release. So I'm going to turn to the side just a little bit for this pose. This is our chair. We're going to go into a chair. So I want you to imagine, or you can actually put your hands on your hips. As you're sitting down into your chair pose, you're pushing your hips backwards. So we don't want to just sit into it and bring our knees forward. We don't want our knees to go over our toes. We want our hips to go back as we're sitting into this. So you want to engage your thighs and your calves, and you want to squeeze in as you're sitting down. So you give a little bit of stability. Bring your arms up, inhale, and exhale as you sit down. Chest nice and open, arms forward, sitting down as low as you can go. And release. Very nice. Good job. That's a hard pose to hold too. Okay, so this next pose, we're going to start with our feet wide and both facing the same direction. We're going to turn our front foot forward and kind of play with how far apart you want your feet, because some people like to go a lot lower, other people like to be more sitting up. So it doesn't matter how far apart your feet are, as long as you can get into this pose. So I tend to like mine a little bit further back. This foot should be in alignment with the middle of this back foot. That foot's facing this way, this foot is facing that way. And we're gonna bring our arms up. You want your hips open, and you want your hips to be in a neutral line. So make sure whenever you're doing this, hips and shoulders are both in a neutral line. Bringing our arms out and bending our knee forward, active in this leg, but still grounding through this back leg as well. So you're gonna be pushing against both of your legs and really giving yourself some more stability. We don't have a lot of stability this way. So if you're active in both legs, you're gonna ground yourself and strong in this pose. Okay, so again, active back leg, pushing into those toes and your outside of your foot, pressing into this foot, shoulders nice and open, strong in our warrior. So good. If you can go a little bit deeper, you're gonna activate this part of your leg, your quads. Again, shoulders back. Very nice. 2 more breaths here. Keeping your core engaged, belly button to spine. And release. Very good. So stay with your feet still in this position. We're actually going to tip forward. So you want to make sure that you're not dumping over. So we want to almost reach forward with our torso. We're going to rotate our rib cage, bending this knee, coming down, touching the floor, and then we're going to bring this arm up overhead into our extended side angle. Okay, so we are sideways, opening up through those hips, arm up, stretching your side body. Very nice. Again, grounding through those feet again. Very good. Hold this here, a couple more breaths. Again, pressing into your toes. Don't forget to breathe here. And if you can turn your shoulder a little bit and extend, opening your chest through this one as well. All right, and down. Now, we're going to, and you can actually bring your feet together a little bit for this next one, because you may get a little bit of benefit from having some blocks stacked next to your foot, just because sometimes it's hard to get all the way to the ground with your legs straight. So, in the triangle pose, you want to go ahead and tip your torso forward. So we're bending right here at this hip, and we're extending. We're also twisting our rib cage outward, and then we're extending our hand down to either the floor, or just scoot this just a little bit to the floor, or our block. And then we are, again, twisting, opening up through the chest, and placing our other hand up. We're looking up at that hand. Very nice. Grounding through both the feet. Very good here. You want to make this a little bit taller. That way you can kind of rest on that. But again, you want to be opening through the chest. Very good. And you can play around with your blocks a little bit. This is probably the better option for me at this point. Very good. All right, let's release that one. All right, so you're gonna bend that knee, bend your knee, and you're gonna turn your foot 45 degrees. So your foot was at 90, you're gonna turn it 45. We're gonna keep a similar stance, and we're gonna inhale up, arms up overhead, and then we're gonna bend down into that front knee. Again, rooting through both of your legs, pressing into the outer edge of your back leg. Get my pants fixed right here. So pressing into the outer edge of your back foot, pressing into your front foot, making sure that knee does not go over your toe. And we're gonna square our hips forward this time. Arms up overhead. And hold this here for just a moment. You want your ears between your biceps and kind of pressing those shoulders back. Active in your hands and shoulders. Still breathing through this. Deepen just a little bit more through that knee. You got this. 2 more breaths. Hold it right here. And release. Good job. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn our feet the other direction. So nice wide stance, and we're going to do a forward fold down to the ground. And so see where you're comfy with feet apart. You don't have to be super wide if you don't want to. If you want to get down to the floor, if you're comfortable in super wide, it makes it a little bit easier for you. We're going to go ahead and lead with our chest and make sure we're extending out. We're not hunching over. Our shoulders are back. We're just lowering down into this pose. We're going to exhale. We get down to the floor gently on this one. And we're going to go ahead and pressing into the floor. If you want to get down a little bit more, oh, I can feel that one now. And hands down. Wherever you want to be here is great. So if you want to get your head close to the ground, you can. If you want to stay up higher, you can. Just kind of feel into this pose. Feel what's comfy to you, and then go with it. You do want to make sure that you're still active in your feet. You want to make sure that your knees are the same direction and they're not turning in or out. And stay strong in your ankles. You want to make sure you're not dumping your weight into your ankles. So just make sure you're active in your feet, pressing into the inside of your foot. And if you can get down to the floor for this one, for the last 2 breaths, let's do that. Grab your ankles for this one. Very nice. Okay, we're going to slowly roll it back up. If you want to bring your feet closer to you. And then slowly, slowly, slowly roll on up. Very nice. Okay, for our balance pose today, we're going to be doing Warrior 3. And so you want to start out like we were in Warrior 2, where you have your back foot right here, and then we've got our front foot planted. Now, this pose, we're going to be putting all of our weight on our front leg. We're going to be lifting our back leg, and we're going to be sending our hands out in front of us. So it does take a lot of balance to do this pose. So we're going to go through it really slow, and we're going to go through some modifications that you can do to help you get to this full balance pose. So first of all, we want to make sure that we're active on our front leg, and we want to make sure that we are, go ahead and taking a moment to find the balance there. So keep your legs slightly bent, rooting in through the toes, getting your hips centered. Before you even start, you want to make sure your hips are neutral. And again, we've got our weight started on this front leg. And so from here, you want to put your hands on your hips. And then we're going to go ahead and practice lifting that back leg. And we're going to look down at the floor. See where you're at in your balance today, lifting that back leg, keeping the hips square, and then set it back down, okay? So again, we're going to lift the back leg. Eventually, we're gonna extend our arms out. So from here, with our hips square, front leg engaged, rooting our balance through that standing foot. We're going to keep our hands on our hips, looking down at the floor in front of us, lifting that leg. Ready? So from here, we're going to extend our arms out and hold. Nice and square, lifting up through that back leg, sending our arms out in front. And release. If you just want one more point of contact, you can also, again, square your hips, put your hand on your block, and then lift from there and hold. Very nice. Now we're going to do the other side. Same way, rooting through, balancing on that front leg, keeping those hips square. Shoulders need to be square also. And lifting up, finding your balance as you tip forward, leg high, arms out. Ooh. Keeping that balance on that one. Woo! And release. Very nice. From here, we're going to go into our final pose. And we're going to do it twice because we're going to come back through and do the whole set over again. Okay, so this is a little bit like our reverse tabletop, which let's go ahead and do that one first. Feet rooted into the floor, lifting up through our hips, squaring everything up. And we're going to go ahead and keep your feet close together, and that'll kind of give you a little bit of stability. You can squeeze in like we did in chair, squeeze in with our legs. So ready? Rooting into your hands, rooting into your feet, lifting our hips, and up we go. Head back. And release. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to do that with our feet flat. And I feel like we need to Okay, so before our final pose, I want to work on our shoulder opening just a little bit more. So we're going to inhale, we're going to go up, and then we're going to exhale down. Bring our shoulders behind us, interlace your fingers, and then sitting up, we're going to try and pull those shoulder blades together behind us. So we're opening up our chest by pulling our shoulder blades back. Back and down, breathing into the stretch. Make sure you're nice and grounded in your sitting pose. Again, pressing those back, lifting your chin up. And relax. One more time. Shrug those shoulders out a little bit. Making sure we've got lots and lots of mobility there. You can almost circle. You can circle right here. And relax. Okay. All right, so from here we're going to go into our peak pose. which is reverse plank. Okay, so in preparation for this pose, we've done all of the shoulder stretches, we have done the lengthening, we've done our neck stretches. So from here, we're going to root into your heels and your fingers. So make sure your fingers are nice and wide, right behind your hips. And we're going to send our hips up, send our chest up, looking above and slightly behind us, okay? So keep your feet together. We're going to lift up with our hips. Ready? And release. Okay, so we're gonna do that one more time. Again, pressing in through the fingers, pointing the toes, lifting up through our hips. Ready? Set, go. Opening up through the shoulders. Trying to get as high as you can on those hips. And release. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. Get that strength. We're gonna make sure and take a couple breaths in that. It's gonna be hard, but we're gonna do it. Ready? And inhale. And exhale, lift. Stay here, stay high, and release. Very nice. Give yourself a hand. You did an amazing job. All right, so we are going to go back through our poses again, a little bit faster this time, and we're going to end with a couple of relaxation poses and go from there. All right, so we're going to do our twist. We're going to be a little more dynamic this round, okay? So get seated, get grounded in your sit bones, and we're going to twist and release. Twist and release. 1, 2 more times. And 1 more time. Okay, now we're going to do our staff pose. Again, everything connected to the ground. Sitting up nice and tall, hands near the hips. We're going to inhale up and forward fold. Wherever you can get here is just fine. Inhale up again. And exhale forward. Try and get a little bit lower. And relax. Okay, we're going to plant our feet and go into our bridge pose. Again, grounding into the feet, grounding into the hands for this one. Ready? Sitting up high, hips nice and high, and down. We're going to go up one more time. Ready? And release. Okay, turning over, standing up to Tadasana. Okay, feet together, arms up, and standing here, lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Inhale. When we exhale, we're going to exhale into chair pose. So we're going to inhale and then sending those hips back. Exhale into our chair. And release. We're going to step forward to our warrior. You need to squish forward, you can. Toes and knees are aligned. And hips are open. Shoulders are neutral. Bending into our pose, nice and strong. Now, lengthening, twisting down to our extended side angle. Up overhead. Very good. Watching that knee. Opening up through the chest here. Very good. Bending our foot. Rotating chest. Extending open for our triangle. Ooh. Extending open for our triangle. Relax. Okay. Now we're going to turn our foot 45 degrees. Square our hips forward. Down into our warrior one. Lovely. Okay, now feet forward, don't dump into those ankles. Oh, there. Extending out, leading with our chest. Exhale down. Stay here for just a minute. Hands down. Relax. You can go flat back and then okay. All right, so from here, roll it back up. Going to root through our right leg, lifting our back leg. Want to make sure our hips are square. Forward. Activating that back foot. And release. Very good. So now I'm going to do the reverse plank this way so you can see it from this angle. Okay? We're going to bring our feet together, pointing our toes, and we're going to lift through our hips, sending our head back. Ready? Opening up through that chest. So think about squeezing those shoulder blades together as you lift. Opening up through the chest. And release. Very nice. All right. Woo. Now we're going to go to our seated poses. And we're going to do some stretching, twisting. We're going to twist to the left. We've done quite a bit of that, but we're going to go ahead and roll forward. Forward fold here. See how far you can get down, still in a gentle stretch. And roll it back up. Very nice. We can extend our feet out, activating those toes, and slowly fold forward. Pressing our chest forward and stretching right here. You can hold ankles. You can stretch forward with your hands. All right, so from here, we're gonna go ahead into our Savasana. So get in your comfy position. And put your hands on your belly right now. We're going to work on breathing into our diaphragm, breathing into our belly, making that raise up and down like a balloon. And you want to relax your head and your scalp. Every time you exhale, release your forehead, release your cheekbones, release your jaw muscles. Release your lips, relax your ears, relax your head and your neck and shoulders, your upper arms, lower arms and hands. Breathing relaxation into your chest and your heart, in your abdomen and internal organs. Every time you exhale, relax. Release tension in your hips. Release tension in your thighs and knees. Relax your calves. Relax your ankles. Relax your feet. Release all the tension from your body. Continue breathing deep, slowing your inhale and your exhale. Let's go back to our intention today. Our intention of yourself as a gift, as something to touch others and to bring joy or bring something useful to the world. And if there's something that you've been wanting to do or that you're very passionate about and you just aren't sure that you should be doing that, bring that to your intention and bring some meditation to it. Mull it over. Release it, examine it, and then pick it back up. Give it some time to decide if that is what you truly want, if it's what you're truly passionate about. You have many gifts. You have many things that you could bring. This is just one of them. So it's okay to pursue anything, no matter if other people think it's a good idea or not. And it's also okay to set it back down and decide that it's not for you. It is your choice and it's your life. But sometimes it's helpful to bring it in meditation and to get clarity on what it is, on how it fits into your life. Get creative ideas. And sometimes it's not even a thing, it's just something you want to do for someone. A song you need to write, a gift you need to give, a compliment, giving counsel, or teaching someone something that you have, knowledge you have, and passing along that gift. As we begin to wake up, we're going to wiggle our fingers and toes. Going to slowly come back to awareness. Come back to the present moment. And we are going to bend your knees. Roll over on your left side. And press up to our seated position. And you can go back to your cross-legged position, or you can go into a half lotus. Sit with our hands on our knees, spine straight and lifted. Bring our hands to heart center in a prayer pose. And I want to thank you for coming here today to practice on your mat and to learn some new poses. And you're giving that gift to yourself, the gift of movement, the gift of mindfulness, the gift of breath. And so thank your body for moving today, and I hope to see you in our next class. Namaste.